Who knew a simple arm exercise would end up being my most hated video of all time? You know why there are so many different perspectives out there in fitness? Because there are so many different things that can work for you based on your needs and goals. Now, while I'm not encouraging you to go find the strangest thing possible to test, I do think it's key we start to embrace the opportunity in different perspectives and see these differing opinions as a chance to learn and improve, over simply demonizing moves or opinions as wrong. I can't tell you how many times early on in my fitness career I wrote off a differing opinion or a movement that was outside of the fitness tribe I was in at the time. But this really held me back from becoming as strong and as fit as I could possibly be. It's why I can deadlift more now than when I won the Massachusetts Rhode Island State Powerlifting Championship. It's why I'm leaner now than when I fought tracking and focused only on clean eating and restricting arbitrary foods. We need to seek to learn and challenge our own perspectives with different viewpoints. This is the only way we can really learn and grow and make tweaks to our programming and create the Frankenstein program that we need to see results. Because the simple fact is, one size doesn't fit all. Now, I bring this up because of the interesting comment chain I read on my underrated arm exercise. Let's get one thing straight about what creates results and helps you build muscle. If it challenges you, it will change you. Heavier loads are only one way to create progression and muscle hypertrophy. Muscles grow stronger and bigger in response to a challenge that forces them to adapt. Time under tension, using different tempos, changes in range of motion, changes in tools used, changes in the exact movement pattern and your postures, all can create a new stimulus and challenge for your muscles. And all of these can force your body to have to adapt and grow. Progression can simply be created by doing the same but different, and that's why I love this amazing arm exercise. I also said this was an underrated arm exercise, not the best arm exercise or the best tricep or bicep move. This move hits the entire arm, which you can't say about those other isolation moves. Not to mention, underrated means not valued highly enough, which I believe this move clearly isn't. And often the people not seeing the value haven't even tried it. So instead of writing it off, like I feel far too many have done, try it to actually see whether it benefits you. You may be surprised. Now, I wanted to address a few of the concerns raised on the video so that you can see a different perspective and really understand if this move is right for you. So the first concern was, what if one muscle is weaker and that limits the weight you can use? Many people mentioned that one of the muscles involved was stronger than the others, so they felt like they needed to use different weights on each move to truly challenge each muscle group. There is definitely always a limiting factor in movements. It's why for especially stubborn areas, as I mentioned in the full video on the underrated arm exercise, you may want to at times include isolation exercises still. However, these same people vilifying this move because the muscle required for the movement may be stronger than another also love bench press and do push-ups and pull-ups and squats. In all these compound multi-joint movements, there is a limiting factor. Be it your shoulders or triceps or chest on bench, something impacts the loads you can move. It doesn't still mean you don't get results from it and that you can't create progression to create hypertrophy. Not to mention, both the triceps and biceps play an important role in our overall shoulder health. Why not work them at the same time we also get the benefits of an overhead press? And instead of simply writing this move off because one area is stronger so the weight doesn't challenge it as much, why not tweak the exact version of the move you do? You could slow down the tempo, especially of the eccentric portion of the exercise component you want to make more challenging. You can do an extra rep in that piece of the movement even, performing 2 curls to 1 overhead tricep extension. And on top of all of this, we have to remember that our hypertrophy goals may all be different. Not all of us are training for a bodybuilding competition, nor super experienced lifters. We may not need isolation moves to truly challenge those muscles. It's why we need to understand that different moves may be right for different training experiences and goals. Now the second concern, why use a hybrid movement? So a hybrid movement is not a compound exercise. They're in fact different. A hybrid movement can combine compound exercises, it can combine isolation moves, but it is a flow of multiple movements together. There seemed to be some confusion around this topic. To get the best results, I believe we need a diversity of movements. While compound moves are the most time efficient and key for overall functional strength as you work more muscle groups at once, for those especially stubborn areas that need extra focused work, isolation moves are key. If a client comes to me wanting to really build muscle but short on time, I may completely forego any isolation movements to start. We want to think bang for their buck in their workouts. However, a more advanced lifter who has an area that refuses to grow or change may opt for a progression with more isolation movements than you would usually do. The key is you're embracing the options. Same goes for hybrid movements, which are movements that combine multiple different movements into a single flow. A hybrid movement can have isolation exercises included. A bicep curl is still an isolation exercise for the bicep, even if you combine it with a flow with an overhead press, which is a compound movement, and then even add an overhead tricep extension, another isolation movement. So by doing this flow, you aren't wasting any time doing a bicep curl then a tricep extension. You're also getting in the bonus of an overhead press, which works not only your shoulders but also your triceps before that overhead tricep extension. More time under tension for those muscles. You'll be surprised by how much you feel that burn adding up. Another benefit of hybrid movements is the increased energy demands because you're working more muscles in a short amount of time. Especially when you usually be doing, say, 8 to 12 reps of just a very isolated movement, this can be good to get more benefit in less time if you're trying to keep your training sessions short. While you may be thinking, why not just superset tricep extensions and bicep curls, you may have to consider the change in rest you'll actually be giving the areas. While yes, it is only one curl to one overhead extension, the rest between each is shorter than doing your 10 reps of curls before your 10 reps of tricep extensions. Not to mention, you're then not working in that overhead press at all. Even with all this, you may decide the move is not underrated as an arm exercise. You may choose not to include it at all. But why not see opportunity in this movement to allow yourself to be open to options and improving your training? You may find at some point it does come in handy. I can't tell you how many times something I decided not to use I've brought back in special circumstances or with a client who really needs it. Think about this. What if you only have one weight to use? This is a great way to make use of that one set of weights in a time-efficient manner. If you only have 20 minutes to train and most of your workout is focused on those compound lifts and movements, you can still get in this isolation arm workout with this underrated move. Instead of just writing a move off, why not find ways to tweak the basic move? Whether it's changing tempo, making it a unilateral move, adding in holds, there are so many ways we can adjust moves to match our needs and goals. We have to remember that not everyone has the same needs or goals, or even training situation and experience. So instead of just writing a move off, why not learn who or when it could benefit someone? You may find it ends up being the missing piece to your training. Too often I see the same people who are labeling moves as bad or pointless, struggling to achieve the results they want. And it's because they aren't open to new perspectives, instead sticking by the mantra of their fitness tribe. Don't hold yourself back from achieving the results you want. Be open to progression through the same but different. Be open to different perspectives and opportunities because it may help you find the missing piece of your training puzzle. If you liked the video, make sure to like it, comment below if you have any questions, and subscribe. We're posting new videos each week.